Hi friends, this is Prashant. Today we are going to start with chapter on is current electricity. This chapter is important not only from your 9th point of view, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th and IIT JEE also, right? Everywhere this chapter is very important. We'll start today with some basic concepts related to current electricity, right? Maybe I will divide this current into two parts, right? For 9th standard, whatever is the part, and again I will go with the 10th standard part, right? Check. Now what is current, right? Now here current is defined as right, your current, it is defined as the rate of flow of charge. Whenever they say rate, that means it is divided by time. So I can say current is equal to, it is charge upon time. Current is what? Charge upon time. Current is denoted by letter I, charge will be Q and time is what? T, right? Now what is this Q? This Q is again represented as, therefore I is equal to, this is N into E upon T, where this capital Q is the total charge. Capital Q is the total charge. What is N? It is number of electrons. N will be what? Number of electrons, that is charge carriers. And what is E? Is the charge on each electron. Charge on what? Each electron. What is the actual value of charge on electron? E is equal to minus 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. But for numerically, right here, right, E is equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. Right, when we use this value in numericals, right, E is equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. And T, of course, it is the time. Right, T is the time. Now we will write what will happen. This is our conductor. Say metals are good conductors. This is any conductor, right? This part is called as area of cross section. This is called as what? Area of cross section, which is A, which is equal to pi r square. R is the radius, and this is the length of the conductor, which is L. L is the length of the conductor. Now electrons are randomly moving in all possible directions, right? These are the electrons which are randomly moving in all possible directions. So over here there is no, since there is no net flow of charge, so we can say current I is equal to 0. There is no net flow of charge, so we can say current is 0, right? Now I want current in this conductor, so what I will do, I will connect this to a cell, right? I will connect this to a cell. So same conductor is now connected to a cell, right? Along with this key, this is plus minus, this is positive terminal, this is a cell, this is key. Now electrons being negatively charged, they are pulled towards positive terminal, right? So these are the electrons which are randomly, they are now moving in one particular direction. They all are pulled in one particular direction, right? So this is the direction of electron flow, which is from negative terminal of battery towards positive. And here will be the conventional current I, which is from positive terminal towards negative. This I is called, this is called as conventional current. After this, when I say current, it is always conventional current, which is from positive terminal of battery towards negative. Right? This is about the one part. Now, what will be SI unit of current? So SI unit will be, it is coulomb per second. Coulomb per second is called as ampere, A capital. If I want to write in word, A is small, that is ampere. This is the name of service. So current is said to be 1 ampere if 1 coulomb charge flows through a conductor for 1 second. So current is said to be 1 ampere if 1 coulomb charge flows through a conductor for 1 second. Right, this is one part. Now current is a scalar quantity. Question will be why current is scalar, although it has magnitude, right? It has direction. So why current is scalar? So result is that ki current, I will write here, current, so write here, it has magnitude, right, plus direction, right, but it does not obey laws of vector algebra. It does not obey what? Laws of vector algebra. So what are these laws of vector algebra? They are there in standard 11, triangle law, parallelogram law, all this part. So current is not obeying that part, and therefore although it has magnitude, direction, it is not obeying laws of vector algebra. Therefore we call current is a scalar quantity. Current is what? Scalar. Now check the next part about this chapter, right? Next part question will be what will happen if 1 ampere current flows through a conductor for 1 second. If 1 ampere current flows through a conductor for 1 second, find the number of electrons passing through any cross section of conductor. Find the number of electrons passing through any cross section of conductor. Now in this case I can write, since I is equal to, this is n into E upon E. So I can write here n is equal to, this is IT upon E. So I will write here n is equal to, I ka value is 1, T ka value is 1. E is 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19. If you solve this, this comes out to be, this is 1 upon 1.6 into 10 raised to 19. I will take this 19 as 10 into 10 raised to 18 upon 1.6. So if you solve this comes out to be 6.25 into 10 raised to 18. So this much number of electrons will flow if 1 ampere current flows through a conductor for 1 second. If 1 ampere current flows through a conductor for 1 second, this much number of electrons will flow, right? Same question can be asked if 1 coulomb charge flows through a conductor for 1 second. Now 1 coulomb upon 1 second is 1 ampere. The same question, 1 ampere current flows for 1 second. Right, that's it for this one part. Now we'll go why metals are good conductors, right? So metals have large number of free electrons. Now what are free electrons? Electrons which are in the outermost orbit, which are easily removed from that conductor. They are used for conduction, and that is the reason metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. Now what about insulators? Insulators have electrons, but they do not have free electrons which are used for conduction, and therefore metals are good conductors of heat and electricity, right? Okay. Now the next part will go about what is Ohm's law. We'll talk about what is Ohm's law. Acha, what is Ohm's law? What Ohm's law says? Ohm's law says that as long as physical state of conductor remains the same, physical state and temperature remain same. Now what do you mean by physical state? What do you mean by what? Physical state. Now physical state includes 3 factors. First factor is length of the conductor. First is what? Length of the conductor. Second factor is the area of cross section. Second factor is what? Area of cross section A. Third is material. Third is what? Material. Third is what? Material. Which material I am selecting? Whether it is copper, aluminum, silver. This is what physical state. And fourth part is the temperature. So if these quantities, temperature, if these quantities remains constant, then according to Ohm's law, current flowing through a conductor I is directly proportional to V. V is the potential difference applied across the conductor. V is what? Potential difference. We'll come to that point. What exactly is the potential difference? Current flowing through a conductor is directly proportional to potential difference V applied across the conductor. Right? I will just modify this part. Therefore, I will write this is V upon I is a constant, and this constant is nothing but R. Now what is R? R is a resistance. R is what? Resistance. Resistance is nothing but obstruction or opposition to flow of electrons. It is nothing but what? Obstruction or opposition to flow of electrons. Now how to remember this part is very simple, right? Just to remember this part, I will make an arrangement in such a way that we will make a triangle. I will divide this triangle into 3 parts. Here I will write V, here I will write I, here I will write R. Right? V, I and R. I want V, so I will write here V. I will put thumb on V. So this is I into R. So it is I into R. I want R. R is equal to V upon R. And I want I. It is V upon R. Now from this we conclude that if potential difference is constant, then current and resistance, they are inversely proportional. They are called inversely proportional. Right? Now next part will be, what will be SI unit? SI unit of R. SI unit of resistance is, it is volt upon ampere. This volt upon ampere is called as ohm, which is OHM, ohm. Right? Now resistance is said to be 1 ohm if 1 volt potential difference is maintained across the cell, which gives you a current of 1 ampere. Resistance is said to be 1 ohm if 1 volt is potential difference applied across the conductor, which gives a current of 1 ampere. Again, the quantities over here in current electricity all are scalars, which we are studying in 9th and 10th standard, right? This is again a scalar quantity. This is which quantity? Scalar, right? So just check. We'll continue how that Ohm's law affecting your length, area, material and temperature, right? Now just check. Here we are writing how that resistance is affected by resistance is affected by length. So first part, R is directly proportional to length. If you increase the length, resistance will also increase. If you increase the length, resistance will also increase. Check this part. Here is one conductor, here is another conductor. Only difference is in length. Right? So in first case you have obstruction up to this point. Achha, before that, what exactly is the obstruction? Now check this part properly. This is our conductor, right? Now here I will show some metal ions, right? This is positive metal ion, right? This is positive metal ions. These are positive metal ions. They are randomly arranged, right? These are metal ions, right? Now suppose these are electrons. When I apply say potential difference, before that they are moving randomly. As soon as I connect this to a cell, right, these negatively charged electrons, they are pulled towards positive terminal, and these electrons collide with these metal ions, and that obstruction to their path is called as resistance. It is called as what? Resistance. So each and every material, each and every body will provide resistance, right? So if you increase the length over here, if you increase the length, resistance will also increase. Resistance will also increase. Second part, resistance is inversely proportional to area. It is inversely proportional to what? Area. Now here, if I increase area, resistance will decrease. Why? Check this part. This is the first conductor, this is the second conductor. Length same, only area of cross section is different. So over here area is A1, resistance is R1. Your area will be A2, resistance will be R. Now as the path available for electrons to move will be more, so more number of electrons will reach to this side. More number of electrons means more current matlab less resistance. It is inversely proportional, right? So if you have more resistance, current will be less. So if you increase the area, path available for electrons to move will be more. So more electrons will reach to other side. That means it will form more current, right? Less resistance. So resistance is inversely proportional to area. About third part is material. We'll discuss this after some time. Okay, that is material. Now next part is about temperature. Next part is about temperature. So how that temperature is affected? Temperature is T. So resistance R is directly proportional to temperature. Resistance is directly proportional to what? Temperature. Now here, in this case, just check. Here is my conductor. Right here is my conductor. These are metal ions, right? Positive metal ions. I am supplying heat to this conductor externally. Now just imagine that this is not that heat that this metal will melt. No, to melt a metal, temperature is of the order of thousands, right? So here I am just keeping it on a flame. So what will happen? The molecules over here absorb heat energy. Once they absorb heat energy, they store their energy up to their capacity. Once they cross the capacity, they start vibrating up and down. And during that process, they block the path of electrons. When they block the path of electrons, electrons reaching on other side will be less. Less electrons means less current, that is more resistance. So resistance is directly proportional to temperature, right? Now we'll go with the next part of this chapter, that is called as specific resistance, right? This is not there in 9th standard, but 9th standard student can do all this thing, right? Just check. What is that topic? Exactly the topic is. That is called as specific resistance, or also called as resistivity. It is called as what? Resistivity. Now what exactly is the specific resistance or resistivity? We will keep at constant temperature. We are keeping temperature constant. Resistance is directly proportional to length, and resistance is inversely proportional to area. Resistance is directly proportional to length and it is inversely proportional to area. If I combine these two, तो क्या हो जाएगा? R is proportional to, this is L upon A. R is proportional to what? L upon A. If I remove proportionality, then there will be R is equal to some constant rho. This is L upon A. अभी हम लोग रो डेंसिटी को भी तो रो लिखते हैं, हम लोग डेंसिटी को भी रो लिखते हैं. So don't worry about that part. Your rho is a constant. You cannot change this part. Rho is called constant, and this rho is called as specific resistance, also called as resistivity. It is called as what? Resistivity. Now what is this resistivity? This resistivity is a characteristic property of metal, right? So I will write here therefore rho is equal to, this is Ra upon N. Now what will happen with the SI unit? SI unit will be, this is resistance is ohm, area will be meter square, length is in meter. So this will be ohm meter will be the SI unit. Ohm meter will be the SI unit, right? Now I want definition of specific resistance. So right here for L is equal to 1 meter, right? 1 unit. A is equal to 1 unit. Then rho is equal to R into 1 upon 1. So how will you define? Specific resistance is defined as resistance of a conductor of unit length and unit area of cross section. It is defined as what? Resistance of a conductor of unit length and unit area of cross section, right? Now here I will write one node. Now what that node says is specific resistance or resistivity. Right here, specific resistance is characteristic property of substance. It is a characteristic property of substance. It is independent of physical dimensions like length, area of cross section, right? It is independent of physical dimensions like length or area of cross section, but it depends upon, right? It depends upon material and temperature. It is affected only by what? Material. If I change the material, the value of specific resistance will change. Now how to explain this part? Look at the example of what is the density of water. Density of water is 1000 kilogram per meter. Have you asked kitna quantity hai? What is the quantity? What is the shape of container? No. Right? What is the boiling point of water? It is 100 degree Celsius. Right? Here have you asked any quantity? No. So similarly, density, boiling point, right, melting point, all these are specific resistance, right? All these are characteristic property of substance. They are same, they are fixed. So if I say copper of whatever may be length, you have two different wires of different length, area of cross section, but material is same. So specific resistance value remains same. It will not change. Right? That is important. And this is the point about the third point. The material is about this, right? Now we'll go with the next part of this chapter only. I'll just check. You have, say, this is there in 10th standard or not 9th standard. Okay. Now just check here. Suppose you have a wire. This is a wire. This wire has resistance R1, length is L1, area of cross section A. This wire is stretched uniformly. Right? This wire is stretched uniformly to a length n times its original length. Now just check. This is the new length. Right? Length will be what? L2, which is n times L1. 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, any times, right? Area of cross section will be A2, will be different, and resistance will be R2, which is question. Right? Length is also L2. Right? Length is already written, so resistance we want. Okay? Now check how to start with this. You have R is equal to rho L upon A. Right? First case I write R1, L1, A1. This is equation number 1. Now for second case, resistance will be R2 is rho L2 upon A2. Equation number 2. Why not rho 1, rho 2? Now since material is same, so specific resistance remains same. So what I will do, I will divide equation 2 by 1. So I will write here, divide equation 2 by equation 1. Right? Here 2 by 1, so that is R2 upon R1 is equal to, this is rho L2 upon A2 upon rho L1 upon A1. Right? This rho cancel. So this is rearranged time. This is L2 upon A2 into this is A1 upon L1. I'll just rearrange this term. This is at what? L2 by L1 into what? A1 upon A2. Right? Now, since wire, this is the equation number 3. Equation number 3. Now, since wire is stretched uniformly, wire is stretched what? Uniformly, its volume remains same. Volume remains same. Since volume is same, I can write V1 is equal to V2. V1 is equal to what? V2. So I can write this volume of cylinder is base area and height, that is A1 L1 is equal to what? A2 L2. Right? So I can write here, therefore this A1 upon A2 is equal to L2 by L1. This is equation number 1. Now I will substitute this value of this 4 in equation 3. Right here, substitute equation 3 4 in equation 3. So what I will get? This is R2 by R1 is equal. This is L2 by L1 as it is. Instead of A1 upon A2, I am writing L2 by L1, which is L2 by L1, like the whole square. Right? But what is L2? Which is n times L1. So I can write therefore R2 by R1 is this is n L1 upon L1 the whole square, which is equal to n square. So I can write here therefore R2 is equal to n square R2. Right? N square what? R2. N is how many times the wire is stretched. Now no need to, this proof is not there, just this relation is important. But when you use this in numerical, you can't go by all this method, right? There is a shortcut. A shortcut says ki since your length L2, what we have to use in while numerical, so that I am writing here, right? Now since L2 is n times L1, so obviously area A2 is 1 by n times L1. So if the length is doubled, area is 1 by 2. If the length is n times, area will be 1 by n times m, right? Just substitute this value over here. Okay, I got first, I will write divide equation 2 by equation 1. So it is R2 by R1 is equal to what? This is rho L2 upon A2 upon rho L1 upon A2. This is L2 by L1 into what? A1 by A2. Just substitute the values of L2. L2 is what? N times L1 upon L1. A1 as it is, A2 is 1 by n times A1. This A1, A1, L1, L1 cancel. This comes out to be n square. So R2 is equal to n square R1. This is the same proof, right? Student, that's it for this video. We'll continue. This remaining part is current, in which we are discussing how cell work, right? All that part, series and panel, that we'll discuss in next lecture. Thank you. And please do subscribe my channel. Thank you.